What's up, you guys? So before we get into this video, check out my hat. Isn't this so cool? This is my new hat. I am obsessed. I think this is my favorite hat that I own so far. I do love the red one, but this one is really special to me. And I posted a TikTok video kind of explaining the backstory with it a little bit. I love it. I'm going to tag the artist in the description below. So if you could, please give her a follow and support her. She's absolutely amazing. So, all right, with that being said, let's talk about why you probably clicked on this video. And that is because I recently made the announcement that I am officially a Clickfunnels ambassador, which is exciting. And some of you guys might be a little surprised about it because I have been very vocal over the last few years, especially about the newer version of Clickfunnels. So let's kind of rewind a little bit. Let me kind of give you my backstory and what made me change my mind and why I said yes to doing this. And then what we're going to do is talk about some of the really cool new features that they just announced at Funnel Hacking Live. So before I take you into the new features today, I want to give you a little bit of a backstory. Long story short, I was a website designer before I even did funnels. And I remember seeing Russell do this campaign that websites are dead. And I was so confused, but also offended because he was telling people that websites didn't matter, that they didn't work. And here is what I was doing for a living. So I started looking into Clickfunnels. And to be honest, I just did not understand the concept of funnels whatsoever. So when I saw that the software was $97 or $297 a month, I was like, no way. Like, who can afford that? Not me. I'm not going to do it. So I just kind of dropped it. And if you guys have heard my story, then you know I was looking for a mentor. I eventually found a guy named Pedro Adao, and I shortly started working with him after. And if you haven't seen my story, I'm going to encourage you to watch it at another point. It is here on this channel. So when I started working with Pedro, he was like, hey, because you have experience doing digital design and website design, I actually think you'll pick up funnels pretty quickly. Here's my Clickfunnels login. Why don't you start playing with it and seeing what it's like? So sure enough, I did that. I got in there and I was like, wait, this is easy. Like, it's very similar to what I was already doing over in WordPress. But for you guys, if you do or do not know, with funnel building and designing, it's not just about the aesthetics. Sure, that is a big piece that can move the needle. But with funnels, you really have to understand the strategy behind them and understanding the different things that can help conversions and the flow of the funnel and the different steps and the language, and there's so many pieces to it. So over the next few years, I started learning mostly from Pedro. He's the one who taught me the most about marketing and funnels and whatnot. But then I started learning more from Russell. And to this day, I am still learning and developing this skill set and practicing and playing with new things and seeing what's working and seeing what's not working. There is a whole art and science to this, and maybe I can make some content about that later on. But long story short, Pedro got famous for challenge marketing. And because he got famous for that, I got to design all these challenge funnels for him. So that was a lot of fun, getting to work with so many different people and doing all these challenge funnels. So that is my specialty. I love challenge funnels. I can do them in my sleep. They're just so much fun for me to do. And I got to do them for Pedro. I did it for his consulting clients, his friends, and many of our students. So over the last several years, I've built many 2 Comma Club award winning funnels, which has been so cool. And they've all been done in Classic. So Classic was a great software. It has a special place in my heart. But the thing that was missing from Classic was that it really specialized in funnels, but it was kind of missing these core other components like a CRM, and it had a membership area, but it wasn't like absolutely amazing. And then you could only get the affiliate center and some like emails and on like basic emails and automation stuff in the $297 plan. So people would get Clickfunnels Classic and then, you know, use Zapier to connect it to like ActiveCampaign or MailChimp or HubSpot or anything else like that. This time, other softwares were popping up and also pivoting to becoming all in one system. So you could do your emails and automations and funnels and websites and CRM and affiliate centers and all these things in one system instead of having all of these pieces connected. connected, right? Simplicity is king. So ClickFunnels was kind of falling a little behind with this, but little did we know they already had something in the works. So fast forward to 2021, September 2021, and Pedro is actually speaking at this FHL. And here's a photo of us behind stage. This is a few minutes before he's about to go live. I am panicking at this point because I had just transferred his slide deck over and none of the fonts pulled over the right way. So it was looking really crazy. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's got to present. This is going to be a hot mess. And he had a lot of slides, but thankfully all went well. He absolutely rocked that event, and I loved his talk that day, honestly. And I'm not just saying this because I've worked with him for so long and because like he's one of my closest friends. I'm saying this because like he genuinely just slayed that talk and did so well. And like the rest of the time at FHL, he always had people like surrounding him in the hallways, and he was like just dumping so much value and doing all these things. All this to say, he really changed the challenge industry. And PS, by the way, Russell, Todd, or anyone on the ClickFunnels team, if you see this, invite him back. Invite him back to speak again on challenges, because it's been cool to see like the following years, challenges have come up so many times. And at FHL, this past FHL, he got a lot of love and some shout outs about challenge stuff. So you guys should invite him back. Okay. Now, with that being said, at that FHL, they also finally made the huge announcement that they had been working on a ClickFunnels 2.0. And this was so exciting because people were already kind of getting frustrated and wanting to kind of have everything in one place. And at this time, high level was really starting to pick up traction. And so they made the announcement for 2.0, and it was like a Marvel announcement. I mean, it really was like a Marvel announcement. They had this like big screen, and they were like, okay, here are the different phases of what we're going to release. Here's what we're going to do. This is going to be like a game-changing software. It's built with like new code, new system, like all this stuff. So I'm like sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing. So they hype it. They start, kind of like pre-selling the beta, like all this stuff. I'm super excited about it. So they release it, and it is just kind of, in my opinion, it was a little bit of a disaster. They released the beta version of it, but the only thing you could do at that time was funnel building, and the funnel builder was still pretty glitchy. And you could see the spaces that they had for all the other things, but you couldn't really access any of that other stuff. So they had really overhyped it, but then under delivered it when it was actually released to the public. And I wrote about this a lot on Facebook. I had talked about this with many other people. And at this time, just to be completely honest, people started kind of jumping ship and going to other softwares because this was hyped and hyped and hyped. And for the following year, there were still things that weren't being released in time as promised, and things were definitely behind. And so people were getting really, really frustrated. So I didn't want to wait anymore personally. So I took my stuff elsewhere. And I still continued to build funnels on ClickFunnels Classic. And people would ask me, well, when are you going to go to 2.0? When are you going to go to 2.0? And I'm like, it's just not in a place where I feel confident and comfortable telling people to move their systems over to 2.0. And so I just kept designing in Classic because Classic was working for all of my clients. They're still hitting 6 to 8 figures. So I did not want to break anything that was working. So fast forward, right? And thankfully, over the last few years since they've announced it, it has become a better system, and they have caught up quite a bit. And finally, we're seeing the things that they had promised in the beginning. They are now in ClickFunnels 2.0. It is a really good system. I am loving building in there. So we started kind of migrating. I can't even say the word migrate. I started rebuilding some of our funnels in 2.0 over the last year. And the reason why I say that is because one of the big things was you couldn't migrate funnels from Classic to 2.0, which was also another reason why a lot of people were disappointed. And I get it, because it's a different code, different software, and different systems. So there was no easy way to do that until now. I'm going to show you guys something that's really, really cool here in a bit. So 2.0, I'm saying this now because I was so disappointed and so bummed out. And I personally moved my own system elsewhere. I started advocating for another software and system. And thankfully, it has gotten to a much better place. I love the builder. I love designing in there. It has been really cool. And so for Pedro personally, his systems are a bit different. So we're not using 2.0 to the full extent that it could be used. but I have done it for other clients and it has been amazing. So there are some bits and pieces that I think it's still missing. And I've had the opportunity to meet with the Clickfunnels team and kind of give some feedback and encouragement to them. I know they're working on this stuff. So there are going to be a lot of other cool features that are going to be coming out, but they made some really big announcements at FHL. So now that you guys know this and you can kind of see like what made me change my mind, why I'm kind of sticking with them, let's go ahead and dive into these new announcements, and then you can see if this is something that you want to go ahead and upgrade to. Before we get inside the builder, I need to talk about the pricing really quick because this was the other really frustrating thing with 2.0 and why I wasn't recommending it to people, because when it launched, the lowest tier was $147 a month, and it had limitations and it was missing so many things. And I was like, you guys could get better bang for your buck somewhere else. So thankfully they have updated it and they've changed it. And I think now it is quite a steal for what you can get. So with their lowest tier at the $97 a month, you have 3 brand workspaces. And I'm going to show you what this means here in a second. Let me go over this stuff first, because this is going to take a little bit more time to explain. You have 3 team members on your account. You have all these unlimited things. Beforehand, it was like you could only have like 10 domains connected and like up to 100,000 contacts, I think, which doesn't work for somebody like Pedro because he has way more than that. We buy domains for every little thing in challenges. So that was going to be really limiting. So I'm glad they changed that. With that being said, this doesn't mean that you can just get an unlimited amount of domains in ClickFunnels. You still have to own the domain. So you have to purchase that domain in something like Namecheap. That's my personal preference. Or you could buy something over in GoDaddy. But this just means the amount of domains that you can now connect to your system. And then that way they process the SSL. You can get it connected to your funnels and so forth. So with that being said, let me try to explain the workspaces a little bit. So and I'm going to make sure that my face covers. I'm going to show you how this works, but I have 2 NDA clients. So let me just pause this really quick and do that. So a workspace, so you can have up to 3 workspaces. And what this means is that you can have essentially 3 different brands or businesses on your one account. So in the past with Clickfunnels Classic, it was $97 a month, but that was for one account. So if you had another business where maybe you wanted to have a different bank account connected, you might need to do a different account just for that business. Well, now you can have it all in one place here. So we have one for our main 828 media team and funnels. We have one that's just for challenges. As you can see here, this is all challenge seeker related. And now we have a new one for our challenge consulting clients. So they're individually organized. So if I want to do anything challenge related, I would click on Challenge Seekers Masterclass. It would bring up my challenge funnels, the challenge automations, challenge emails, like all that stuff. Consulting clients, same thing. When I'm building things out for consulting clients, now I can do it in this area. So it's all kind of separated and organized. So having the ability to have 3 different like brands / businesses in like your one account for $97 a month is absolutely amazing. So I love that they changed that. Now, really quick, you guys can see, even looking at this, it's totally different than ClickFunnels Classic. Here is the ClickFunnels Classic dashboard. Ignore this number. It's not accurate because we run our checkouts through another system, but here's the Classics dashboard. Here is the 2.0 dashboard. This one is really clean. It's simple. The menu is over here on the left-hand side with all the different things that you can do and add to it compared to this where you have the main menu up here at the top. So I love just kind of like the subtle differences with this. Something I hope that 2.0 will kind of fix in the future. I think this is taking up too much real estate. So having this be a little bit thinner, because I personally would love to log in and see the numbers and data and stuff like that higher at the top. So now let's go into the funnel builder and let me show you the difference with that, because this is like one of my favorite things. And then we're not going to go deep into like all the different things that it could do. And I can't even show you some of this stuff because it's private information, but I do want to show you the funnel builder really quick because this is like my favorite thing. So in 2.0, if you go to funnels, you're going to have your list of funnels. And I love that it has the funnel and then the amount of steps in there, your visitors, page views, like you kind of get a little bit of the analytics right off the bat. Now for us, again, we don't do our checkouts in the system for different reasons. But you guys can. We have to do it because of the way we set things up in the past, but you can do it in here and you would see like your sales and your orders and stuff like that in here. So now let's talk about the funnel building area. It is totally different, as you can see over here in 2.0 compared to Classic. In Classic, you had your steps and then you have your stats and whatnot. Over here, you can get some analytics right over here and you can get some basic stuff over here, but it is a totally different thing. It's not necessarily steps. And now you can add automations to it in this area. You can add a product on the pages. So in Classic, where you had to have a certain type of template in order to add a product, no more. You can add a product to any page over inside of 2.0, which is absolutely amazing. So what I really love about this is the builder. The builder is so much more detailed than what we had over inside of Classic. And the strategy is still the same. So let me open up the builder over here as well. Okay, so in the Classic builder, you had your sections. Inside those sections, you had rows. Inside of those rows, then you had columns. So this is like a 2-column setup. And then inside those columns, you had your different elements. And when you would click on the different element, it would give you these different options to do different things, right? So here's what you would have for like a headline options. You have your basic settings, then you have just a few advanced settings. Then, I mean, it was like this for everything with the buttons. I actually have a CSS code to kind of give it this gradient sort of thing going on here. But for buttons, you had certain settings. For images, you had certain settings. So anytime you click on an element, it would pull up this thing and you had all those things. And I loved it. But there were times where I wanted to do something really cool and I had to do CSS or kind of use CF design tools to kind of get the effect that I really wanted to do. So now over in 2.0, I'm just going to kind of close this out. It shows you kind of the flow of your funnel and then you can click on this to go to a different page, but we're just going to close it out for now. So here's the builder in 2.0. Totally different, right? You've got this stuff up at the top. It shows you and then this new tool, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But the goal is eventually like you could work in real time with other people. So if another one of my teammates logged in, I would be able to see them up here and see that they're in the funnel as well. With this being said, check with your team and make sure that nobody else is in the funnel when you're building, because we have run into this issue where we just didn't know, like I didn't see it until later on that we were in the same funnel together and I had made all of these changes and updates. But because they were also in the funnel at the same time, all my stuff did not get saved because they were actively in there saving and doing all their stuff. So keep that in mind, maybe coordinate it for now. It's not like Canva, like in Canva, you can work in real time and see what each other's doing. You can't do that quite yet in here. But anyway, you have your sections, you've got your rows. Inside those rows, you have your columns, and then you have the different elements. And when you click on these things, it still brings up your settings over here. But you're kind of going to notice there are a lot more settings that you can do with these different elements over here. So for the headline, for example, here are all the detailed things that you can do. So you can add, all this stuff. You can do some mobile stuff on here too. You could add a background to it. You could add a shadow. You can add an icon before or after. You have some basic advanced settings as well. So at first I felt really overwhelmed with this builder, but the more I'm in there and the more I'm playing with it and the cooler things I can do, I'm like, this is awesome. I love it. So for example, I have a section down here with these tickets, and I did this image in Canva. But this gradient fade, right? Instead of using CSS to be able to do this, I just did it directly in the builder. Now you can have gradients in certain sections versus just having a solid thing, which I love. I still can use CSS if I wanted to, but here's another example. So I have this section where it's kind of fading from the white to the blue. I love doing like little subtle details like this. Again, you can do it in the builder. You don't need CSS for that. So I love just being able to do as much as I can in the builder now compared to doing stuff, with code. So there's so much to love here. They have way more settings for all the different sections, the different rows, different things like that. Now, another big game changer with 2.0 is the concept of style guides. And if you guys are using Canva Pro, this is kind of like the equivalent to brand kits, where you can have your fonts saved, your logos saved, your colors saved, the styling saved all in one area. Well, style guides is that for ClickFunnels. So you can create style guides, assign the different things to those style guides, and then attach it to a funnel page. So now when you go to add in your different elements, like a headline, for example, it automatically pulls in the color and the typographic style you want, the size that you want. Same with the buttons. If I add a button in on the page, it's going to automatically add it in the way that I want it to be. So I have one button in this kind of green format. I have another button in a different layout and another one in a different layout. So depending on how I have the sections, I have 3 different button styles already saved for me. I also have, you can see here when I click on this, it says paint, and that's because in the style guide, I've already assigned the different colors. And then like, hey, whenever I put a dark background in, make sure the text that's on that is white. Same with this one, same with this one. But if I have a lighter background, I want a darker color type, right? So you can kind of organize your contrast and your different things. So it makes the funnel building process so much easier. And if at any point you want to change the styling, because by default, it will just kind of pull in with these different sizes and these different things. But if you want to change it at any point, you can click on these little dots and now you'll have the freedom to change the sizing, change the line height, spacing, all of that stuff over here in the settings. But the style guide is designed to save you time, which I absolutely love. Chef's kiss. That's so much fun. Okay, so now that I've kind of taken you behind the scenes with the builder and why it's my favorite builder, I want to talk about a few of the big things that they announced at Funnel Hacking Live. And one of the first ones is the Affiliate Center. And here's how you're going to find it. If you go into your account and you go to add an app, you're going to see a list of apps. And these are the different things that are going to show up over here that you can use in your ClickFunnels account. And you're going to see Affiliate Center and you can add that in. So now you can have a whole affiliate setup for your different products and funnels. Now, for me personally, I've never used this. This is the first time with me seeing it, so I can't really talk about it. I'm going to be learning more about it and how it works, but I think that is a really cool feature because now you don't need to use third-party tools like First Promoter or Lead Dino. Now you can do it right inside of the ClickFunnels system. So if we end up using that, I will make a follow-up video and let you guys know how that goes. But for any of you guys who know you want to do affiliate things, then this is definitely a bonus for you. Okay, so another big announcement was frameworks, and we actually got to test this out with Challenge Secrets Masterclass a few months ago with our VIP. Whenever someone signed up for VIP, they were given a 90-day trial to ClickFunnels, which is insane to begin with. And then they got our challenge framework automatically installed to their ClickFunnels account. And so a framework is like a system, right? And so you get the funnels, you get the emails, you get the automations all in one place. And so you could just kind of plug and play your content and get started. So let me show you the one that we give to people. Okay, so what we decided to give people was a free challenge registration front end of the funnel and then a checkout for your back end offer. So for the front end of the funnel, you have a free landing page that goes to a VIP upsell, and then it would take them to a confirmation page. And you could always have a confirmation page for VIP and then a normal confirmation page here. So this is what we were giving people. And I didn't design this template, but it is still a high converting design. We've used it in the past before. And so this is already done for you. All you have to do is get your style guide set up, attach it to the funnel, and then plug and play your content in. And we even have the automations attached to it as well. So when a person opts in, it's going to tag them with a certain thing. And you could go in here and you can change the tag to whatever you want. I typically recommend you put like the month, the date, and then like opt-in. And then it gives them a welcome email, and then it will delay it for a few hours. And depending on if you did VIP or not, it might send you an abandoned cart sequence for the VIP, which is pretty cool. The other cool thing is that ClickFunnels has this feature called countdown funnels. And if you have used deadline funnels, it's kind of similar to that, where you can set a date and then have that in the system. So for us, you would put in like when your challenge is going to start, and then the email automation for, oops, let me close this out. The email automation for the daily reminders and replays will trigger based on that date that you set. So we actually have all of this stuff also in place for you guys. And it's super easy. All you have to do is go in and edit the emails as need be with your own challenge data and information. So you can click on that. You can click on edit email. It's going to bring this up. And then it has literally our templates in place. And all you have to do is swipe out the highlighted content. So this saves so much headache trying to figure it out on your own, and saves so much time, right? You could just go in here and literally plug and play all of your stuff, and it's already set up for you. So let me try to go back now. So as you can see here, right, you've got the emails, you've got the automations, and you've got the flow. And this is literally like some of the templates that we give to our consulting clients. So it automatically gets added into your account, and then you can go from there. And something else I forgot to mention is if you were to sell the recordings as part of like a VIP bonus, we also give a template for you to modify there as well. And so you can click on this. It has our challenge secrets branding in there, so that would need to be changed. But we have like the structure in place. So you can click on the different lesson. It's going to pull this up, and then you could add in all of your different details. So once it loads the builder, so there we go. It just has a video in place. You would add the YouTube video. So it doesn't have native video hosting. This is probably like one of the cons that I have with this system compared to some other ones. You do have to upload your content on something like YouTube or Voomly or Vimeo, and then link it over here instead. So we also have a template in place for this that people could also modify as they want. And then the Clickfunnels team and I designed a checklist that kind of walks people through like, hey, make sure you have all these pieces so your framework works well. So we tested this out. We got some good feedback from it, fixing a few things in there, but it is such a cool feature. And for people like us who are funnel builders, this is going to be an amazing opportunity for us to design our own frameworks and be able to sell it to other people or give it to our clients. And the coolest thing is that with this, you'll be able to, if it's a new customer that you share the framework with, then you will get a 50% affiliate cut from that framework compared to the typical 30% that you would normally get from referring others to ClickFunnels. So I absolutely love that they have this. I'm really excited. And yes, I'm going to be building my own challenge frameworks that you could purchase from me. Okay, so now here's the thing that I am the most excited to tell you about, because I've been using it for the last week now and I'm obsessed with it. I'm like, this is so cool. I'm so glad that it is now available for people, and it's free as well. So let me kind of talk about it before I show you what it does. So this new tool is called BarnumPT, and it allows you to do so many different things, like taking a screenshot of a page and picking out colors from a page and identifying the typography in a page, and that just all these things that I was using so many extensions for now is in one spot. But the other like massive deal about this is that you can now migrate funnels from Classic over into 2.0, which is a game changer. Now, of course, only do this with the funnels that you actually have built and that you own. It even has a little checkbox when you do it. Like, you have to say that you have permission to do this thing. So do not steal my funnels, okay? All right, so now with that being said, let me show you how cool this is. Okay, so I need to move this over to 2.0, and you can't migrate the entire funnel. You have to do it page by page. So I have this page open right here. It's a very simple page. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on Barnum and we're going to do save page as copy. And I'm going to go over these few little things as well, but let's just do this really quickly. So it's going to ask, does the page belong to you? Do you have permission? Yes, I do. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this page. Now what I'm going to do is over in 2.0, I'm going to add a new page. We're going to go ahead and add that in. New page. We're going to say this is appointment. Create page. And we're going to go inside here and we're going to see our little Barnum friend up here at the top once it loads. There we go. So I'm going to click on Barnum, and then it's going to say copied pages. And it's going to show me all the pages that I've copied so far from our previous account. I'm just going to go ahead and click on this and import it in. And just like that, within a minute, it pulled in our content from the other page. So here is the original one, and here is it in the editor. Now there's like a few things to tweak, right? Like the font is just slightly different. Like it's more bold over here. I need to move the logo up a little bit. I'm not sure why the video is showing like this, but it does work when you preview it. It does play. So it did pull the video in. It did pull in the 2-column setup with, you know, this right here. Like that looks good. Now this, the calendar, it did pull in the code, but I don't know why it's not showing on the preview page. So I'm gonna have to look into that. But for the most part, it did a pretty good job pulling things in accurately. So there's just been a few times I've been playing with it a little bit, as you guys can see, and there's just a few things that it doesn't pull in perfectly. For example, bullet points are like one of the main ones. So if you have like a bullet list, it might have one icon in Classic, and then it might just do another icon in 2.0. So you'll have to clean that stuff up. There's just like a few little things that are different, but not too much. It actually does a really good job of migrating it over pretty well for the first time. So that is how you can migrate those pages over. Okay, so now I want to show you what else BarnumPT can do, because this replaced so many different extensions for me. I'm not going to go over every single one. I think I should probably make another video that's more detailed, but let me show you the most significant things, at least for me as a funnel designer. So the first one is full page. This allows you to take a screenshot of the entire page, and then it will let you download that screenshot, save it as a PDF, or add it to a folder, which is great. I do this all the time when I am building my own funnels and I want to show them in my portfolio, or if I find a funnel that I really like and I want to save it as a reference, I'll use full page to do those things. So I love that they have that. Color picker. Now this tool is going to be super beneficial to people. You could go on the page and select a certain color, see what color it is. You can see the hex code there. It's right there. Now, where you access this is inside of, I thought it would automatically copy to like the clipboard, but it doesn't. So the way to access it is you have to open your Barnum account, and then you're going to see colors, and you'll be able to see where you pulled those colors from, and you have to copy it to your clipboard. So just a heads up there. Ruler is a great one, especially if you're designing graphics for your funnel. So if you are designing your funnel and you're like, oh man, I really want to make an image that's kind of going to fill this space a little bit more. Maybe I want it to be just about this size. So you can kind of drag and have a custom size there, and it's going to show you the width and the height. And so what I do is I go into Canva, and now I make a custom graphic that is in this size, so I know it's going to fit well on my funnel page. So I love that they've got that ruler feature. Inspector is going to pull up like the CSS. So this is another really great way to see like the different sizing of things and all the different like details. I can see the colors that are on this page all in one place. I can also copy the hex codes from here, which makes it amazing. I can also see the fonts that are being used on this page as well. And then we have Image Scraper, which this is also another amazing one, because in the past I was using this, which I actually need to remove it from my thing, but this will get all the images that are on the page, and then you can go and download them all or download very specific ones. So I love that that's going to save a lot of time as well. Now, save page as a wireframe, I have not tested, so I'm not going to go over this. I've just been using the save page as a copy, as you've seen, so I can't really talk about that. But as you also see here, you have a dashboard for your Barnum, and this is where you have your folders with different screenshots and different things. You have all the screenshots that you've taken in one area that you can organize into those folders. You've got your colors. They're adding all of this stuff where it's kind of like pre-designed elements that you can then add into your funnel. So I think that's pretty cool. And then you've got like copy pages, wireframes, page history, all that jazz. So I love that this tool is now available, and best part is you can install it for free. So I'm going to stick my link below if you want to go ahead and do that. And you will see, just a heads up, this is for free, but they are going to invite you to a subscription afterwards on the next page. And that just gives you a few additional bonuses with things that you can sync in. I'll just kind of show you really quick. So we'll let it do its thing. So this is the upsell. So, oops. Oh, it's going to send me a code now. So it has, okay, here we go. I was looking for this section. So here's what you get with the Backstage Pass. So they're going to take care of your AI fees, because, oh my gosh, I forgot to mention, this tool does a lot more. It has AI capabilities in there. So you can use the AI to rewrite stuff on your page. You can use the AI to actually build the funnels for you. And I've got to play with that a little bit more before I show you these sort of things. But with this Backstage Pass, you're going to get file sync storage, you're going to get page history, and then access to beta features in the future. So I love what it can do for free, but I also see the value of this. I know they're going to raise the price of this at some point, so I got in early. I'm going to use this. I think it's definitely beneficial, especially for what I do and the amount of funnel building that I do as well. So you get started for $1, and then it goes to $27 a month after that. Okay, so that is a brief look at ClickFunnels 2.0. I can make more videos kind of going more into the details about all the different things that it actually has to offer instead of showing you some of my favorite stuff, but this is really cool, and it gets me pretty pretty excited for the future of this platform and the different things that they're going to be announcing and they're going to be doing. I feel a whole lot more confident with becoming an ambassador for them and promoting the software for them. And I'm excited to do my own frameworks. Many of you guys have been asking me for templates, and so I will be creating my own frameworks that I can give to you. But if you want to get started with BarnumPT or you want to get started with ClickFunnels 2.0, I'm going to put my links below. I would love and appreciate the support if you use those links to sign up for your accounts. And of course, if you guys have any questions, you can ask them below, or you could join my creative club. I have an awesome creative club. We have 140 members in there. I'm active in there every single day, answering questions. I'm dropping in content weekly. We do giveaways every month. And so if that sounds like something that is super fun for you, you want to get in the community now while I have it at the low price of $7 a month. I am raising it here pretty soon. So if you want to get in at this low rate, make sure you join. I'm also going to have the link for that below as well. So that is it for today's video. Hopefully this helps give you a little bit more clarity as to if you should go with ClickFunnels 2.0 or maybe go with another software. But for me personally, I am going to be moving my stuff over here. I'm happy with where it's at and where it's going. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you want to see more content like this, make sure you like and you subscribe. I love you guys. Have an amazing day and happy creating.